This week on Rock and Roll Grad School. This week on Rock and Roll Grad School, you may know Jeremy Ivey as Margot Price's husband, but he's a really great singer-songwriter in his own right. He's just released his third album in 2 years, so he makes us all look bad. And he's heading out on tour with Mike Campbell from Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. That's Rock and Roll Grad School, available right now wherever you get your podcasts, rockandrollgradschool.com.
Y is recorded in front of a live studio audience.
I don't know. People are obsessed with this bread, and the bread has 1 billion calories in it.
Okay, and it looks like it's was heated at least on a flat top.
Mm-hmm.
And now in Olga, I'm seeing some sort of meat. We won't use the video for this. People won't get to see you eating. That's extra. That's for our Patreon.
Mm-hmm. Right.
That and pictures.
That's not for my OnlyFans.
Right. No, it's video of you eating and pictures of my feet. That will be our OnlyFans.
That will definitely be our.
Yeah. What is in an?
And
Olga?
I love that we will have a joint OnlyFans.
It's the worst like Amazon recommendation ever. If you like this, you might enjoy.
This is Why, with your hosts, Heidi Hedquist and Luke Poling.
But what's in that? It looks like
some. Well, mine's kind of so the original ones that everybody loves were lamb.
Okay.
But this is
wrong
chicken.
With that.
This is chicken. And then their sauce is this really good, like yogurty sauce.
Okay, sort of a tzatziki.
Kind of, but it's like her own twist on things. And she's passed away recently, but at like the age of a gazillion. But Olga is like a Detroit.
Olga is a real person.
Uh-huh.
There was an Olga.
Mm-hmm.
What was she of Mediterranean descent? So there's something coming from that has
Lazon is her last name. I feel like she might have been Greek. Okay. I should know.
No, we're not going to Google it. Why do that?
Randy could look it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, Randy's and they have this thing called snackers, which is when they kind of toast and fry the bread into little triangles, and they have this like paprika cheddar on them. You dip them in this like bar cheese kind of situation. It's really good.
So it's sort of like a fancy pizza roll.
No, they're not stuffed.
Okay, perfect. Great.
It's like a fancy pita chip is what it is.
I ain't mad at that.
No, they're amazing. When you come to Detroit, I'll take you there. It's not where it wouldn't amazing. They're good. But
I've already done the Coney Island.
Lafayette.
Yeah, like I've done that one, which God bless them both. But there's always more. To start, I think probably some backstory might be needed. How did you come to Inn Thrall? Was it through the B&B community or the BDSM community?
Believe it or not, I've never actually been to a B&B.
Just when we thought we couldn't love you anymore.
I guess I went to one of those air ones once, but that was it really. There's several different stories of how it came to be, and they're all true. And it's sort of a many faceted story in that regard, but it came at a time when I was ready to transition away from being a professional dominatrix and of 15 years. And I wanted to really figure out what was important to me and what was deeply meaningful to me, and giving people a place to really explore themselves. I was able to do so as a professional dominatrix, but it was in these 1 hour chunks, or more.
Right.
And I saw what it meant to have a land where you could drop everything and be yourself. And I was like, what if I could work with women? What if I could give this to more people? What if I could integrate my deep love of hospitality? And I came up with my own dream job. So this is my passion project, my heart's project. So hung up the professional lips.
Or just left them for others.
It's true, exactly.
Sort of handing them down.
A retiree who got to keep her dungeon, and that's rare.
To pass the mantle. When did you yourself first discover your own sort of passions and desires and dreams to pursue first the career as a dominatrix and then evolve into this?
Well, the lifestyle came before the job. So I was born and raised in Alaska, where there was nothing as far as any S&M scene.
Yeah.
There, but I knew I wanted something different, and I bought those $20 magazines at the porn shop with the really high-res, high fashion photography of,
Yes.
and it was very film noir and femme fatale, and I was like, okay, something in here is for me. And I started visiting the clubs in Seattle and San Francisco, and I found my people.
Awesome.
Was it sort of an instantaneous, like, oh, this is, like you said, these are my people, this is my world, I finally found people who think like I do?
Fairly instantaneous. And I also saw visual representations of what I was feeling inside, and found things that I found exciting in those places where I wasn't going to find in Anchorage, Alaska at the time, certainly.
Right. And how long into or after that did you sort of start to think, well, I could sort of pass this along and share this with others in a way that, did you get paid for it? Was it a job, or was this out of sort of off hours?
It began as just my fun times.
Right.
I would
Your play with,
I work at home in Alaska and go play in Seattle and San Francisco. So it's very much my play. And it was after a negotiated scene at just a club night, and the play partner I was with just handed me a wad of cash because they had assumed I was a professional.
Like, well, thank you.
And I was like, this doesn't suck.
Right.
I was already having a fine time. And when I came to a crossroads in my life, I was like, okay, if I could do anything I wanted and pay the bills, what the heck could it be? And there, at the time, there was just zero question. I wanted to beat people up for fun and profit.
That's perfect.
I feel like there's probably no greater compliment than somebody just assuming you're a professional. Right? And then you must be like, oh, I guess I am. I guess I am good at this. I guess I achieved what other folks were looking for.
I was kind of focused on my own fine time as well. So
yeah, exactly.
But that's what a career is supposed to be, right? Do what you love.
Yeah, and you'll never work a day in your life. Yeah.
It's you will work every day of your life. But you'll do what you love.
Yes.
So you decide to hang up your whip, and you decide to get into sort of work on the hospitality side of things and open up Inn Thrall. Is this your first swing at this side of the BDSM world?
I did have a lingerie and fetish wear and select books and gear shop for a couple of years in Seattle. So I had that angle. But as far as professionally, I consulted for a television show. And
just sort of different angles of everything.
Yeah.
So what took you across the country to the east side of the continent?
Well, the idea was to really scale Enthrall. It had outgrown itself in a big way. I'd taken this split level in the suburbs that I'd been renting for ever so long, operating a professional dungeon with no neighbors knowing.
Well played.
Yeah.
That takes talent on top of everything else.
We just don't talk to the neighbors. But yeah, it had I had more reservations than I could accommodate. And I was like, well, it's been this way for a while. That tells me it's time to grow. And the end goal, obviously, being world domination. I wanted to position
In all
myself
senses of the term.
Exactly.
Yes.
I had a lot of criteria for where we were positioned, and the East Coast just kept appearing as a real viable possibility. And I thought, no problem. I don't know anybody there, but I make friends easy, no big deal. And I moved here 1 month ahead of lockdowns for COVID. So not even unpacked.
Yeah,
wow.
not the lockdown you had in mind.
No, I moved into this amazing house, ready to roll out 3 guest suites, and all of a sudden, home-based hospitality was a no-no.
Yeah, not so good for a little
right?
while there.
And it was like, okay, big mortgage. Let's think deep, quick. And I figured a way to pivot the model. What I thought was going to be the party end of the house. Like, well, it's got its own HVAC system, separate from my own. And I can actually operate this contactlessly in a COVID safe fashion, while also giving people the privacy that they wish, as much of it.
Amazing. Well, the funny thing is, like, the contactless part of it, even beyond the COVID years and all of that, I would imagine for a lot of people, they love to do what they love to do and the passions they have, but they don't necessarily want to have to interact with the people that they weren't planning on interacting with, right? That keeps that privacy to a whole other level. Correct. So it's kind of extra brilliant in that regard.
Yeah, it's a self-contained unit, has its own entrance.
Amazing.
And so 3,000 square feet with the full room.
I mean, well, the pictures alone.
The indoor pool.
I mean, the second Luke sent me the link, I just want to move in and stay there. It's just, it's gorgeous. I'm like, at every room, I would think just looks like a blast.
But you were very excited, let's be honest, with the idea of the Libertine Hall, really.
Oh, no, Libertine Hall, it did. Well, the pool was first and foremost.
Yeah,
I never outgrew the love of a pool. But yes, love the Libertine
always there
Hall.
to just
love. Yes, it's amazing. All of it.
Well, thank you. That's I can never see it through anybody else's eyes for the first time. So it's really cool to get people's first impressions.
Yeah, I mean, it's everything I think you, from just our brief conversation, you imagined, and it's beautiful, it's sexy, it's fun, it's inviting, it's classy, it's sensual, it's everything. It's clean. It's clean. Oh,
yeah.
And that, hallelujah. I mean,
how long did you look for this location? Because when you look at the website, when you look at all the things you're offering at Inn Thrall, it sort of seems like you could have built this place yourself and designed it with this floor plan in mind. It just seems so custom made for this.
I am really good at inflicting myself on a floor plan. Like, this is the house that 1983 wanted to be in 1979. Like, it's the house that cocaine built, honestly. When you see the rest of it, it's hilarious. It was clearly not meant for children. It was definitely built for events and gatherings of the sort, which of course we can't have just yet.
Right.
So I'm like, hurry up and wait for it.
So you have right now, is it 1 bedroom that you have available for folks to say it, and then there's the
mega
hall.
suite, yeah, which is downstairs from it. So by the time you're in Libertine Hall, you're actually 2 stories underground.
Ooh,
2 stories.
that
Wow.
makes it even better.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Nobody can hear anything from anywhere.
Oh my God, that's amazing. That's
I hear
outstanding.
nothing in my wing of the house because this house has wings.
As it should.
It cracks me up. I gotta say, I get to live in this big fancy house. It's because of Enthrall, and I love it for that. So.
Well, I was wondering about that because, you say on the website, that part of the house is yours. Have at it, do whatever you want, be as loud as you want. It doesn't matter.
As naked as you want.
Yeah. And I was wondering if you heard anything or if it just gets tiring after a while when some nights you're like, I just want to watch Frasier and go to bed. Like, I don't want to hear everything else going on.
Never tired. Are you kidding me? It's like on the rare occasions, it's, with the windows are open, like it's music to my ears, and it just makes me happy, honestly.
So are there neighbors in the know this time around? Are there even neighbors?
Well, it's on a private road, and I was required by the council to write to all of my neighbors, which I did, and I let them know I was building a romantic getaway, and they had the opportunity to speak at the township meeting, and no objections. So a romantic getaway. Here we are.
A romantic getaway you shall have.
Yes.
It is actually very romantic.
It's true. Like, you weren't lying. That's a very true statement.
People are just, you can tell they feel more connected overall, at least, and by the time they leave. And they say so.
How could you not, right?
It's a place without the distractions that would allow you to go as deep as possible in vulnerable ways with, no clocks, no children, no dogs, no laundry, no bills, no neighbors, and be together and see what happens.
And when you look at it from that way, it seems like a pretty big responsibility is on your shoulders, not to add to the feeling of that, but that, like you said, people are looking for that experience to have this, this event, this thing that they can't get elsewhere, and they're looking to you to provide it.
It's a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is your role in helping them achieve what they're looking for?
In general,
yeah.
I am your friendly innkeeper, here to greet you, take your temperature, give you a welcoming tour to see all of your spaces and what's on offer during your stay. Get an idea of how to communicate with me during your stay. And once I lock my end of the airlock chamber, which is between the two HVAC systems, has its own air purification system. That's where my space begins, and I'll message them when breakfast has arrived, and it will arrive on a fancy cart, a fancy tray in the room, and they can take it to their suite.
What does breakfast consist of? Muffins?
A lot.
Pancakes? What do you what's your specialty?
I love to make a really yummy cinnamon French toast with a strawberry ricotta topping, or sometimes stuffed inside.
Wow. I was just thinking crullers. So this is above and beyond.
You can eat crullers and watch Frasier while the rest of us go hang out at Enthrall.
Or it could be crepes with maybe some mango and peach or cherry or both.
See, because all the food too, it's all good food that you could actually incorporate into your fun as well as eating it.
I mean, it's up to you.
But, you know, like nobody wants eggs.
I mean, there will be fancy eggs. I do make fancy eggs.
Well, crepes and French toast.
They'll be there. And then the bacon, obviously.
Of course.
And
Without a
coffee.
doubt.
It's actually a very full tray. There might be a yogurt parfait and potatoes with rosemary. And
gosh, that sounds fantastic.
so I mean, it's half the name.
True.
Yeah.
But it's way better than like some, you know, place where you don't know if like the cats have been crawling around in it and some weird like powdered eggs and some toast.
No,
like
no,
it's
no,
totally different experience.
No. This place is built, honestly, this place is built on a whole bunch of what would Kathleen want.
I love it. It's perfect.
And if it's not how I want it, then we'll make it better until it is.
Outstanding.
And when I say clean, which is a cornerstone to me because I want to get dirty in a clean place.
Yes.
But the standard of cleaning always has been and continues to be, am I willing to put my vagina there, my vulva, my fussy vulva vagina situation? Am I willing to put it there? And if the answer is no, then it's not clean yet.
That's a very good standard. That's a standard everyone should live by.
I wish La
I
Quinta
wish.
had that.
I wish. I want to imagine I'm the first person who could have potentially ever been there.
Yes. Yes. Always.
Yeah. So it's clean.
It's the sexiest thing you said yet. That's amazing. Do you find that most of your guests are people who have dabbled or are a little bit experienced in exploring, or do you get some sort of like, hey, we've never done this before, we're just gonna dive straight in?
Tons of both. A lot of bedroom players, a lot of people who have thought about, you know, conspired 5 years later. Hey, look, there's a place all of a sudden. And so a lot of people who have never necessarily done some of these things before, or they've seen it on the internet.
Yeah.
And now it's in front of them. And so now what? Sometimes people's eyes are much bigger than they can actually handle. And the fantasies, you know, they get churning. But this is a place where you can really indulge.
So fun. Is there, for those who are nervous or this is new to them, obviously the quiet and the privacy is amazing, but is there sort of a save call or an escape button or some sort of like bat phone?
There's a system in place, yes. And they always are provided with paramedic safety shares and encouraged to keep them at every scene and reminded that they are far more important than anything on site. And if there's ever a situation, please cut your way out. Do all the things, message me. And then I also offer consultations to those who really want to try whatever it is. And their partner is game, but they're like, I'm attached to my loved one and I don't wish to kill them, let's say. I'm like, cool, great place to start. That's like rule 2. We only have 3 house rules. And rule 2 is no dying allowed.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
What's rule 1? Jesus.
It
Hydrate. helps a lot with the rule 2.
Yeah, 1%.
Yeah, good point.
What's rule 3?
No stilettos on the bed, but in the air is cool.
That's also fair.
Makes complete sense.
Really try to legislate as little as I can get away with, but I found I had not put my foot down on that one.
Yeah.
Now, your website lists a ton of things that are in Libertine Hall. You know, you say more gear and toys than anyone's been able to explore completely. And you list multiple cages, St. Andrew's Cross, which I'm not exactly sure what that is, stockade, bondage frames, hard points for suspension. How much of this did you sort of like, did you make a list of here's all of the things I want to offer, or have guests kind of come in and said, well, can you do this? And you're like, okay, yeah, I'll figure it out. Yes,
I
please
already
come.
had it.
You had it all?
I'd art as a professional dominatrix. I had my own dungeon that I worked independently out of for 15 years, and I amassed a really sizable. So yeah, I was surprised when people wanted to pay me to come over and hang out with my stuff.
Right.
Okay. Yeah.
And it was more than that, but yeah, for the most part I had it, and the rest of it I knew very talented gear and equipment makers and worked with them, designed different things that I wanted on site, and
I'm back like on the website getting sucked back in.
Yes, I'm just looking here.
Oh, good. I just posted a couple of new guest reviews.
Oh, you did?
Oh,
But yeah, just today.
That's wonderful. And so has it been, I mean, clearly it's been well received from the guests, just looking at the reviews.
It has.
Was it pretty quickly? Did it just click with everybody? And were you expecting that, or did it?
Well, I'd had 5 years in Seattle, and so I already had proof of concept there. Transplanting it to the East Coast wasn't actually a big hardship in that sense. The model was built. So I'm just grateful that working off of a single unit, I've been able to keep up with and operate through this pandemic in a safe, responsible fashion.
Do you know or see a time when you'll be able to open those other 2 rooms for guests?
I do.
Or are you waiting for the sort of restrictions to come down, or do you still need more work to be done there?
Well, I'm always doing more, thinking of something else. But I am waiting for the numbers to come down more, for the vaccination rate to go up more. And I'm, my household was vaccinated, boosted, all the things, but this is when I have to start asking those coming into my home, may I please see your proof of vaccination, booster? And here's a rapid test, place it in your car for the next 15 minutes. And that's what it takes to come hang out with my heir.
That's
and
fair.
if you don't wanna, you've got the pandemic suite, and it's pretty great. So the inner sanctum is always going to be fabulous,
right?
But I am excited to eventually, and I think in the near future, open the chambers of here and now.
That's awesome.
I do love that your testimonial includes somebody saying how great the mattresses are, for proof of
right?
nothing overlooked. Everything has been considered for your enjoyment, and
I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's lovely. And more than 2 people can stay there at a time, correct? This is not just for couples.
Yeah, say for instance, if you're polyamorous and you have a pod, and nobody can quite host everybody for whatever reasons, there's a place.
Seems more accommodating than like the Shriners Hall or something.
Yeah, probably.
So that's nice.
I haven't tried to get a room there, but
yeah, it has all the mystery of a Masonic temple. So it's got everything.
I've been in a Masonic. Anyway.
There's a lot of fun things happen in Masonic temples.
So
it's
just fascinating. And it's, I mean, we don't even have to include this, but are there other places like this around the country?
There are a handful, and a couple that have been long established with good reputations. They simply were not spaces that I personally wanted to be.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't have what I personally wanted. And I thought, well, see how it goes. And I started with the first room, but when I actually intentionally built the second suite back in Seattle, I wanted to design it around a feeling. And so I carried that here. And then I think I'll continue to design rooms around what I want people to feel when they walk in. As a dominatrix, it was never about what I could make you do. It was always about what I could make you feel.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense.
Makes a ton of sense. And I don't know if I would have thought of it like that before, but that's completely makes sense.
I think a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it comes across in everything. Like you spent some time and you did some research and to really create something that for your guests is something memorable. And
I
clearly
can't believe
it's
how
working.
many return guests I have.
What was my next question?
It blows my mind.
But that says everything.
Like, that's a metric that blows everything away.
It is completely.
I just had a couple here for their fourth time, and they had a collaring ceremony. And I got to officiate.
Wow.
That's so fun.
Like, that's a big, serious honor.
Definitely.
That's outstanding.
I feel so fortunate to have these glimpses into people's worlds that really none of their family, none of their friends have.
Right. To know them a little better than anyone.
In some ways, especially when we have consultations and they're like, wow, like we've done 10 years of therapy and made more progress here today. I've been here. And I'm not a therapist, I'm not a counselor, but I am a consultant and a coach.
That's wonderful. So do you have plans beyond the opening up the other bedrooms? Are you looking to expand or franchise or?
I have many plans.
For world domination. I forgot. Yes.
Definitely. It's a many-pronged situation.
So if folks are looking to book, where's the best place to send them? Should we
please send them to the website INNTHRALL.com, Inn Thrall.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Drop me a line and we'll get you sorted out. So you can have your erotic escapade.
Perfect.
That's wonderful. Anything else we should cover that we didn't discuss already that you feel like we should?
I'm the one who's new to this stuff, so you should know.
Well, but you're the one, we want to make sure we kind of present Enthrall in the best light, but also make sure that people who are not familiar with this, you said you have a lot of newbies coming and exploring and playing.
It's comfortable for them, but it's absolutely well equipped for the serious players that do come in as well.
So it's minor leagues and the major leagues, you got it all.
As I like to say, we've got your ass covered.
And uncovered.
For more information or to book your stay at Enthrall, check out their website, Enthrall.com. They're also on Twitter, where they are at Enthrall.
You can check us out on all the various socials. Be sure to visit our website, and don't forget to leave us a review.
Today's show is produced by myself and Heidi Hegquist. Our reluctant producers are John Sauvé and Sandy Stone. Our willing producers are Rachel Allen and Randy Jeanette. Our intern is Zach Jackson. This one's for Philippe. Thanks for joining us. Flash, we're coming home.
Nigel, is that you? Are you here, Nigel?